The Young Farmers Rodeo in Pleasanton, Texas is a big deal in that community. They love their rodeo and they love their country music. This year's headline act was Grammy winner Steve Warnier. Had a chance to visit with Steve about his visit to the rodeo and his new project called It Ain't All Bad. Country singer Steve Warnier is comfortable singing in front of a rodeo crowd. He's been performing at events like the Young Farmers Rodeo in Pleasanton, Texas, since he was 17 years old. He's garnered 4 Grammys, 11 Grammy nominations, and 14 #1 singles. But he hasn't released a full-fledged CD in nearly a decade.
I looked up and I'd realized that it had been 8 years since I've done a singing real lyric kind of record with lyrics and singing. So at that point, I'd kind of amassed these songs and collected some songs that I'd written through that 8 or 9 year period that were kind of my favorites. I always say they're songs that wouldn't leave me alone. I just sang these songs, hummed these songs, and finally I said, I got to take these in and let's cut some things. It's got a window busted, scraped and rusted, but it's beautiful to me. And when its flathead roared, those running boards saw miles of history. This album is a collection of songs, kind of a collection of best of songwriting. Therefore, I think it turns out to be, of sorts, very eclectic, or more diverse is the better word I'm trying to say. I guess a bunch of songs, and it kind of hops from style to style. But I think it works. I think it's because it's a collection of songs, little snippets of periods of my life through those 8 or 9 years.
Warnier says this album allows him to be more vulnerable and gives the listener a look into his life.
There's a lot of honesty on this record, and I think it just kind of happened that way. That's what my last 8 years have been about, these songs, and it's fun. I made a comment in an interview recently that this is, in a way, this is a bucket list kind of album.
Another bucket list item for this multi-talented musician is to have a show for his artwork. Warnier does wonders with watercolors. He's been invited by the Tennessee State Museum to display some of his paintings. You may not know that at 17 years old, Steve was about to enter art school at Ball State University when his guitar strokes caught the eye of a famous redhead.
Looked at the school and loved it. It's about 30 miles from where I was from, but I met Dottie West, and she hired me, and this music thing kind of got in the way of my art career, and so it worked out. It ain't all bad. It worked out okay.
It has worked out okay. Warnier's love for music, art, and antique cars keep him content and encourage his creativity, not to mention leaving his loyal listeners and fans with a ton of wonderful memories.
Yeah, I was with my dad when he got it. Now he's gone to his reward. But he left 2 tons of memories in the shape of a 48 Ford.
An amazing guitar picker too, huh? Steve Warnier's It Ain't All Bad will be available September 10th.